Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is your boy, JB.
And this is your boy, AJ.
And we are the Chop Suey Crew podcast. Thanks for listening to us today. This is technically our first episode, which is called Straight Out of Wuhan.
That's right.
So the biggest thing that we'll be talking about is the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I think we have a lot to talk about, especially now that we're still in this period of uncertainty. You know, we would have thought that this would have been done, right? This started when?
It started back. It was first reported to the World Health Organization 31 December 2019 with the first confirmed case in America, 20 January. That was confirmed on the 22nd of January by the CDC.
Man, you got some good memory because I would have forgot all of those details. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. You said in China they reported it, and I'm not sure if you remember, but they were actually downplaying the seriousness of this virus. I think initially the reports were, I think, from the WHO, they were saying that there was no human-to-human transfer, or what was it? Animals to humans, or something like that.
Yeah, the transmission from animals to humans. But you got to remember, our man Xi Jinping and the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, they like to spread a lot of propaganda and downplay things. But also you have to remember the WHO was kind of in the back pocket of China. Because China was giving a lot of money.
Oh, man. I don't know, man. Can't go there now.
Hey, man. This is what we're all about on the Chop Suey Crew. So the biggest thing for me, I personally believe it came out of a lab. So if you kind of look at some of the information that was sent out, there have been reports that it could came from a lab in Wuhan, which was a level 4 type lab that dealt with biological warfare. And it just so happened by coincidence there was a wet market. For those of you that don't know what a wet market is, that's mostly like where a lot of people in the world get their meat, but obviously there's, you're going to have bats, you're just going to have some wild type of animals. So scientists have proven that these markets are breeding grounds for animal to human virus transmissions. Coincidence? I don't think not.
Yeah, I think, well, let me take it back. So China News reported that it came from the Wuhan market, the wet market specifically. And, have you heard, I think Australia is trying to do some investigation with that. And obviously right now, that's not going to happen with this COVID stuff still ongoing. And but when it's all said and done, I think China is gonna have to at least have some form of decency to just have other folks check out the wet markets, or just in general investigate what actually happened, because this affected the whole world. And I think if you actually look at it in a standpoint of militarily attack, this is actually a declaration of war.
Oh yeah.
So, But I mean, we can't just say, it came from a lab. I think, we got to do our due diligence to do some investigation first. So, and you're really going to go with the lab part, huh? Because I think that is a very coincidental aspects of it. Because you think about it, there is, if you look it up, guys, there is a level 4 biolab near Wuhan. And this is just not us saying it. You just Google it.
Facts. So the biggest thing, one of the big things that came out of it was our President Donald Trump was saying, there need to be some type of sanctions. China needs to take responsibility. But the problem is China is the factory for the world. So they have all the leverage when it comes to everything. I mean, look at in our studio, most of the stuff is produced in China. So do you really think tariffs or sanctions are going to work on that government? What do you think, AJ?
So with that, I think it does, because China has to still do some trades with other countries, right? So, I mean, by us limiting that trade deal, or not just us, but let's say, the other countries. And I think Japan started it. They started pulling out their manufacturing from China and moving it, I think, in Japan or somewhere else.
Vietnam.
Yeah.
Gotta get that pho. Gotta get that pho.
Hey, that's that good stuff. But yeah, I think there's going to be some repercussion for this. And the end result, I think the trust in China is lost because with this pandemic, really highlights the I guess the preparedness for all the countries. We're not prepared for it, but I think maybe if China could have, let the world sooner about this incident, and I think there was reports about China having canceling their, regional flights in country. However, internationally, they were still flying, flights all over the world. So that could have really, I think, it only takes a couple of weeks to really get this. And this coronavirus is very, what's the word we're looking for?
Highly contagious.
Boom.
Yeah, I do agree with you. I think there's been a lot of talk that the Chinese may have known about this in October and November, but didn't say anything. If they would have came out earlier when this initially happened, there could have been hundreds, thousands of lives saved in the process. But, I mean, that's your boy Xi Jinping, man. The CCP, they're pretty ruthless. They do a lot of propaganda, a lot of human rights stuff. So, I mean, it's not really... It's their MO to do this type of thing. But, I mean, we're going to save this whole China talk for another episode. But another reason why I think coming out of a lab is just so highly contagious, this virus is. It is ridiculous. I mean, take the flu, for example, which is a type of a coronavirus. I could stand next to AJ and he could have the virus, but if he's not coughing or he ain't, he's not doing any of that, the likelihood of me getting it is very slim to none. But when it comes to coronavirus, it's highly, highly contagious to the point of the person doesn't even have to be there. They could just be passing you by, and then you get sick. We talk about the asymptomatic individuals, and
yeah, that's definitely. How do you contract this thing anyway? Is it like I've heard it's droplets in your eyes, and if you touch your eyes, your mouth, that's how you get this, right? Or someone coughs on you.
Yeah, the water droplets, the water droplet theory. I think, yeah, you're onto something.
So this is why we're wearing masks, people. And we'll get to that in a sec. But so let me just go back to the subject of you saying, so you really think this came out of a lab, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
It's 100%.
I'm going 100%. And I'm letting everybody know right now, I'm not a leftist. I'm not a rightist. I'm straight down the middle. But I think I definitely read, listen, watch a lot of things about the CCP and just seeing how trifling they are. I seriously think that this is this came out of a lab. I mean, just for my audience members, what me and AJ are talking about right now about the CCP, we could be banned from the CCP, but that's okay because I'm all about democracy. I'm not about that communist life. But
First Amendment, right?
Yep. That's just how crazy the Chinese government is. So yeah.
I like how you mentioned we're both, we're not very political. All right, let's just get that out the way. We're both centrists, and it's crazy. This election going on in the next few months. So, but anyway, yeah, like I said, we're not political. We're just telling it like it is.
That's right.
And so let's move on. Let's talk about the number of deaths, man. And this is crazy because. The numbers are not stopping, and all over the world, especially in the U.S., I think we have the highest death toll.
Yep.
And it really puts into perspective of like this thing is serious. I mean, I think initially we joked around about it, like this is fake news or hoax.
Shit, I remember when we were like, give us the coronavirus. I mean,
I'll snort that shit.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I've been smoking for 20 years. Now I'm kind of scared of it. I mean, I do wear a mask when I go outside, but life needs to go on.
That is very true. I think it's crazy. When this started, we started with a lockdown, but that was in March, and I believe, I think it's based on the state by state, basically with what they're going to implement as far as how long they're going to be in lockdown, and some states are locked down for longer than others. Say, for example, in Wyoming, I think we were locked down up until, I believe, May.
Yeah, near the end of May.
That?
Yeah, I think near the end of May, everything started opening up. But I mean, if you look, AJ's from California. Myself, JB, is from Florida. The governor in Florida, DeSantis, I'm gonna let you guys know right now. Vote for me. I can do a better job than that guy. A lot of deaths that could have been avoided. I do believe, that life does have to go on. The economy needed to keep going. But I do definitely think that there should have been a lot of parameters, there are a lot of restrictions, not to the restrictions of locking people down, but mandatory mask wear. You see a lot of people, you see those Karens all over Facebook, YouTube, getting crazy because you go to a business and they're like, you need to wear a mask, and they freak out. I do believe that that's one of the things that businesses need to do. They have a right to protect themselves and then protect everybody else as well. So,
yeah, you got a point there. I'm 100% with you when it comes to life going on. We need to go, continue. It's not going to be normal up until we get, I believe, the vaccine. That's what we're waiting for, right? Because half of the country is still shut down or very limited in what they can do. And I think that if we wait for a vaccine, I think that's what's going to be it, right? Because I think Donald Trump said, I think we had this, Operation Warp Speed, where he's trying to create this vaccine as soon as possible.
Oh yeah.
What do you think about that? It's kind of sketch to me.
So a normal vaccine takes 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, it's not this simple to make.
Yeah, they're talking about
a lot of tests.
Talking about expediting this thing to being done by the end of 2021 or by the end of this year, right?
It is, yeah. So, unfortunately enough, the folks in the military will be the first one to get it. So, what do you think about that, man? That's kind of...
So, in our career field of choice, we are the pincushion of America. We are the guinea pigs of America. We don't have the right to say no when it comes to the vaccine. So with all the side effects and everything, we're literally going to be test dummies, lab monkeys for this virus. And to me, I'm a little scared. I'd rather just get the coronavirus,
So what you're trying to say is that if a lot of folks in the Department of Defense in general, both civilians and military, are feeling ill or just happen to die out of nowhere, what you think is related to the vaccine, maybe? What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I do believe that when it comes to vaccine trials, there are going to be individuals that have symptoms that never go away. They pass away, but it's all for the greater good. But I'm letting you know right now, AJ, I love my life. I love my wife and kid, and I ain't trying to get poked by no vaccines, bro.
Man. Hey, we're just going to take the L on this one, I think, man.
It's no choice. No choice.
So, everyone, we'll let you know once we get it. We'll be back with this. If we're not back, and next year, you know what happens.
you know what the fuck happened.
Man, that's crazy, man. But yeah, it's just so. You think about it. What is it? August, right?
Yep.
And we're still in the same place, man. Still a lot of things did open up, but you know what get me is that. So this whole time, even during the lockdown, we had the supermarket were all open. They weren't shut down, and that's a good thing.
Can't get the Rona at the supermarket.
That's right. You can't go to the bar. You can't go to a restaurant during the lockdown, but you can go to the supermarket.
There, I'm gonna tell you right now, where we live, there's been no confirmed cases coming out of a supermarket, but at restaurants, I think there's been three in the city.
Yeah,
that,
I think it's
that
probably
shut
more.
down. Yeah. So the Rona don't like the supermarket.
That's right.
It loves the restaurants
And bars.
That's right.
I don't know what y'all do in the bars. I haven't been to a bar since last year.
Mm-hmm.
And no, that's a lie. I think this is before the shutdown.
Yeah, right before the I think right before the shutdown we went.
Yep. So yeah, I mean that's interesting. So if you guys are listening in, tell us if you guys have a story about you knowing someone catching corona in a supermarket. We would love to hear it in the comment section below.
We will verify it, just to let everybody know. We want to get that check mark verified.
But yeah, that's to me that was interesting because I mean, even now, some places are not open, and yeah, supermarket,
But I think one of the crazy things here in the great state of Wyoming, which we'll kind of go into the political realm a little bit. So Wyoming's a very right state, very liberal, and we're literally
no. It's the right means conservative.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's sorry. I said the wrong word. But, so it's very conservative, but we're 20 minutes from Colorado?
Yeah.
Which is very liberal. It's to the
That's
left.
right.
And one of the crazy things that I've noticed, we do commute occasionally to Colorado. The thing being is that if you go to a store in Wyoming, they'll have a sign up and it'll clearly state you can't enter without a mask. But how many people, when you go into that store, are actually wearing a mask?
None.
Like maybe 10%. And that 10% is probably AJ and I.
Yeah,
So-
we take this seriously, all right?
Yeah.
So that's a PSA from us. Take this seriously. Wear a mask. Go out. Don't be locked down in your house, but, have
But
fun.
don't be one of those goobers that are wearing gloves, bro.
Dude.
Like I see them motherfuckers out on the streets. Like I get it if you're wearing a mask, but then you got them gloves on. Like what them gloves gonna do?
Dude, have you seen? I've seen someone with a hazmat suit, and I'm like, I should have asked that individual, like, how'd you get that? Where do you work?
Yeah,
Because I need one.
I need one. But if you look at Colorado, as you're going down the I-25 corridor, they have signs stating that in Colorado, if you go to a public place, you have to have a mask. And those
Mandatory.
Karens are ready to pounce, bro. You ain't got a mask on, it's your ass.
Yep, they're coming after you, man. They're not playing around. They don't want to get sick. So as you should be, and I think, you know what? So one thing I didn't like about so when this started, right? Let's back up a little bit.
Right.
So March, April. So April, I think that's when it hit the tipping point where in New York we were getting news after news after news, just on a TV. If you have cable TV, you happen to tune to CNN, Fox News, whatever news outlet you watch, is nothing but bad news. Like someone's dying, this many people died, every single day. Like, come on, man! Like that is pretty, grim. And to think of like just having to hear that every day.
It
Like,
scares
come on,
the
man.
sheep. It scares the sheep.
Talk about something else. Yeah, that's right. I think that's one of the
AJ and our wolves.
I think that's one of the things that they want to, put on the masses. The people. Like just be afraid. Don't go nowhere. Stay home forever. And I think that was the message. And as you guys go on with your life, just think about. You make your own opinion about this. I'm not saying you have to listen to us or the news. You as the individual have the right to form your opinion, whether it's stupid or not.
We want to hear it. That's right. Throw it in the comment box. We want to hear you guys' opinions.
Yep, and definitely want to. You know what? That's one thing I want to mention is, so all these debts, right? Like I said, we said we had the U.S. have the highest debt toll, but how many of those had pre-existing condition?
Oh, that's
talk
a big
about
one.
that.
That's a big
Let's talk
one,
about
AJ.
that.
I mean, if you got hit by a car, COVID. You got bitten by a shark,
COVID.
if you got struck by lightning,
COVID.
Man, it's some bullshit. You can't tell me that motherfucker died from COVID, but he got bit by a shark and bled out. But that's the way the government kind of reads everything in the hospitals. But the hospitals are doing that because they get money.
Ooh.
They get checks written to them.
Is that
every
confirmed?
time they have a I don't think it is. Maybe a conspiracy theory.
I don't know. Let's
But
look it
come
up,
on,
man.
I mean, it's just...
We ain't got Jamie in the house, but we're going to look it up after.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Maybe give you an update in the next episode.
Just so you guys know, Jamie is the guy who looks up stuff for Joe Rogan. All right? So, yeah.
We don't have a Jamie.
We are Jamie.
That's right.
Man, I tell you, man. Actually, guys, one of the listeners, if you guys are morticians, tell us, like, what's your experience about it? If you were forced to write in death certificates about, rather than, let's say, I don't know, heart disease, you put corona and then you got paid. I don't know.
Ooh.
Or hospitals.
Ooh.
What say you?
Onto something.
I'm just saying. I mean, I heard from a grapevine. I think I looked it up on the internet somewhere. I was watching some podcast, and I think it was Joe Rogan podcast in one of the episodes, and someone talked about it. Y'all look it up. It's in there.
That's our boy, Joe. So, AJ, what's one of the things that you kind of see going on in the world in the future with this whole corona? I mean, me personally, I think the coronavirus is so widespread. I mean, you look at some countries, like take New Zealand, for example. They went, a month or two without a single coronavirus case, and then all of a sudden in the past couple of weeks, kind of spreading like wildfire again. Italy, that was another hot spot for the coronavirus. They settled down, but now it's going right back up. I think they're back up to about 1,000 deaths a day. So for me, I kind of feel like this virus is going to be one of those things that is just going to be around for a long, long time.
And yes, I agree with you on that. Even Dr. Fauci, the expert on this, said that. So it's going to be one of those seasonal, just like the flu. Comes around, but this one, I mean, I don't think there's any season. It's still around, and I think you're right. Even with the vaccine, also Dr. Fauci said, it might not be 100% effective. So in a way, this is, I think that's the scary part of it, right? Like we want to go back to normality, going out, doing whatever, going to clubs if you're young, and I don't know about going back to that normal. I hope I'm wrong, but yeah, hopefully that's not the case, because it's kind of scary. You imagine living like this for the next, until we die. It's kind of it's kind of crazy. But I would say though, Dr. Fauci said, "Don't give up. This will pass." So, what do you think? What do you think he meant by that? Do you think that once the vaccine is developed and it was given to all the Americans, or throughout the world, you think that would be it? It'd just be like, okay, I'll go away? Because
I think I think with the medical technology we got and the knowledge, I think eventually become one of those things to where we'll be able to treat it a lot better than we can. I mean, if you look at some of the past pandemics in the world, such as the Black Death, a very notable one is the smallpox. I mean, the smallpox literally crushed civilizations. I mean, the Spanish came over to Central America and South America, and all they had to do was give out some dirty-ass blankets with some smallpox and decimated, and they conquered, the Aztecs, the Mayans, and the Incas. But even at the end of the day, I want to say, I know the smallpox got eradicated. Us in the DOD, we still get
Yep.
We get
the shot. Or
yeah, the smallpox shot.
Yeah. Or no, actually they stab you.
Yeah, they stab you with a little
needle.
Yeah, it's about
I remember
pokes,
that shit,
3
man.
or 4 pokes. Yeah, and then you get smallpox growing on your arms. They like to freak you out because they show you these crazy photos of people getting smallpox in their eyes, and so you're like deathly scared. And I mean, we all got the same scar on our arms.
Yeah, you got to keep it covered, or else you're gonna spread this shit.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that was the message. So what's crazy about that was that, like, I think we went overseas. One when I had the smallpox, and I was deathly afraid of it. I'd cover it up. I had to shower sideways. Can you imagine that?
Oh, it's like, you know.
I don't know how you did it, but I was like sideways showering.
Yeah, it was the
I
same
stank
way.
on the left side or something.
Didn't want to touch it.
That's right.
That's how freaked out they made you. Then you get the little scab, and they're like, if the scab falls off, you got to find it, and you got to throw it away in biohazard and shit. Like, it was some crazy shit, man.
I think they got us pretty good on that one because we didn't know what was going on. We're just like, okay, you're the medical expert. We believe you.
Mm-hmm. But it took hundreds of years of research to get rid of the smallpox. But that was back in the day. And I think now the way technology is and the medical information and globalization, how we share things, I think COVID will be around forever, but I don't think there will be as many deaths. Now, if you guys don't know, AJ and I are both Asian, so we're gonna go right down to our Asian roots real quick. For those of you who have ever been to the continent of Asia in the past 20 years, they knew something was up. They're always wearing a goddamn mask, and I think always. So I think in the future, after this is all over, on the streets of America, you are still gonna see individuals wearing a mask. I can't even tell you the last time I shook somebody's hand. It's been a while, man.
I can confirm nor deny, but when I went on vacation, we just visit some family members. Nothing really crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little crazy for us now. Working for the DOD, there's a lot of restrictions. I mean, myself, I haven't been back to my home state in Florida for a while, but it has to go through so many channels just to get approved, is this going to be the new norm?
That is pretty crazy.
And I think also when it comes in the future to seeing Americans be wearing masks, la-di-da-di and all that, I also think that hand sanitizer is still going to be everywhere. I mean, obviously, you go into a hospital, there's hand sanitizer, but now you go anywhere, there's hand sanitizer galore. So,
it's funny you said that. There's a meme that I saw on Pinterest. It's pretty funny, I think, to me. When you see your car and you hang stuff on it, like you hang your, something memorable during your time, like if you're you're a high school graduate, you put like whatever year you graduated, or I don't know, like whatever it is that you want to hang on your mirror, right? You put it up, and so there's a meme that has all of those things, and at the bottom, like 2020, has mask. So I think that was like, yo, that's for real. that's gonna be for a while. We're gonna hang that mask, and when this stuff's over, like we're gonna look back in 5 years, 10 years, you see the mask hanging on your mirror. It's like, yo, that was the Rona.
I think it'll always be one of those things. I mean, our kids, like my kid's 11 years, 10, and then you have a 3-year-old now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the 3-year-old might not remember too much, but I mean, I
want to be a 3-year-old right now. Shit.
Yeah, our oldest kids, I mean, this is going to be a story they're going to kind of tell their kids. Like, I mean, I could remember telling my kids about some things that happened, like 9/11, the Iraqi war, the Afghanistan war, things of that such. A lot of the big things that kind of happened, 2008 crash, so.
Yeah, you're right on that. And definitely for the folks that graduated this year in high school, congrats, by the way.
Congratulations.
That's right. So it's college. I know it sucks, but you'll always remember this year as the year you graduated, all right? Which is, I don't know how you look at it, but it is what it is, You graduated, hey.
Yeah.
But I think that kind of sucks, because I remember graduating. I mean, that's like eons ago. You remember that shit?
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while.
We're both pretty old.
But
let's just put it that way.
At least we got the luxury of doing the walk,
Yeah.
The kids that graduated this year, there's no such thing as a walk.
No. And I think that's the sad part about it, because I know they did, I don't know if you've seen it on the news, they had a drive-by graduation, which is, at least is pretty cool. But I think it doesn't. Yeah, I'd rather have it to where you see all your friends. To me, I think that would be more meaningful, because seeing them for the last time, because you won't probably see a lot of them once you graduated. And welcome to the new world. I mean the real world. It's a jungle out there. I remember when someone told me that, and it's really different. Like to me it kind of sucks, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The whole world's kind of changed. I mean, our kids are starting school next week in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And your child's kind of opted to go to school while mine has opted to stay home. So it's kind of, to me, it's extremely weird for my child to be at home and do his schoolwork. My biggest thing is, children need that social interaction to build them into the people that they're going to be in the future as an adult. So this is, quote unquote, the new norm.
Boo.
And we always know when there's a new norm, it becomes the norm. It doesn't change.
Yeah, I think, well, let me just say that I like that the schools give you that option, instead of having your kids, all of them go to school, at least some or half at least, or, however many have that option to opt out of going to school and, physically. And you're right, man. I think you need that social interaction and just being with your, classmates and just interacting with them. Even, what's crazy? I went to school, right, with my son, the 10-year-old, and this classroom, man, it's pretty crazy. They had all kinds of like sneeze guard, and it's totally different from what I've seen in the past. Well, obviously with COVID, you got to take that precaution, right? But every single desk has this kind of it's whatever you see on the in the supermarket with the way plexiglass. It wasn't plexiglass; it was more saran wrap. They had a, kind of a
like a shield.
Yeah, it's a shield for if the kids.
Rona.
Yeah, the kids start coughing.
Shield from the Rona.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, this is like for real. Like, I mean, I'm glad that they're taking those precautions because you can never be too safe. I mean, even then, you're gonna have so many people, in the classroom. And people walking out the hallway. There's a lot of protocols. Like, and when it comes to going to school, you can't just show up and drop your kids off. I think for my school, for my kids' school, they had to drop them off at a certain point, or a certain area within the, the school. They can't just, drop them off at one spot. They have to be, and it's separated by grades. So I think they're doing it correctly, I guess. But yeah, man, it's like
we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens. I mean, maybe cases are gonna explode or they're not. I mean, colleges in multiple states have already seen an uptick in COVID due to colleges reopening. I mean, they have been saying that young adults are the main
driving force. They're out there. They don't care.
Yeah,
they're just
the ones
going out.
They're the ones that are mostly spreading it. But the thing is like you're young, full of cum. You want to make that money. You're gonna do what you're gonna do, man. Like you can't. I mean, I was off of work for a month.
Forever, man.
Yeah, there was only so many projects in the house you could do. When you're at work, you're like, fuck, man, I don't want to be at work. But then when you're at home for over a month and you ain't got shit to do and you can't leave, you're like, fuck this shit. I want to go back to work. I mean, during this time, I've been quarantined once.
Yeah.
We went on ROM together, restriction of movement. So it's almost like a quarantine, but you can still leave with essentials and things of that such. And I seriously believe like this is how companies are going to treat things in the future now. I mean, we work for the DoD, very huge industry, and the thing with that is we're always in close contact with people from all over the world and things of that such. And I think that's one of the big things now. I mean, you just came back from vacation in California, and just because you were in California, you couldn't go to work for what? How many days was it? A week?
A week.
Yeah.
And I think that was really weird, like just staying home. Like he mentioned, like, there's only so much you can do. I know some of y'all people there just want to stay home and chill, and you're cool with that. But,
hell no.
With us two here, we're kind of similar in a way. We were just
innovators.
Amped up, we're just amped up to do stuff. And
adventurous.
Yes. We want to go out there and, get some work done, get whatever shit done. And, just being cooped up at the house it's a no-go for us, and I think
Yeah,
that's why
like-
we're going crazy.
I mean, I came over here just to say what's up, and they were like, "Oh, you got in contact with them. You got to run them too." So I was out of work for 7 days too. Like, this shit is crazy, guys. Like,
Yeah.
but this to me is how the world's gonna be until this shit kind of calms down. I think your average American on the street is deathly they're deathly scared of this thing. And I mean, for some individuals, I mean, if you look at Americans, there's a lot of obesity. I've smoked cigarettes for almost 20 years now, but I'm still not deathly scared of it.
You're onto something here. I think you're making a good point here. So let's go back to the death toll. And I think the message was, if you weren't fit, you're eating right, if you have underlying conditions such as diabetes or whatever, this is going to get you, and it's going to hit you hard, put you down. And for some folks, like just your regular Joe or someone who's healthy or athletes, there's nothing to them. So I think the message is, hey, if you're not up to snuff when it comes to your physical, fitness or your health, you might want to start to get on that, I guess. Eat right, exercise.
Yeah.
Now the information is at the, you can Google stuff and just say, hey, how do I, stay fit or become fit, lose weight, whatever. It's all out there.
Go out for a walk.
Yeah.
Go out on a walk with your friend.
That's it. Get the vitamin D.
That's right. The vitamin D. Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, like for me, I kind of picked up longboarding again, but I haven't done it in a while. I kind of turned into a hippopotamus, I guess. But I'm still in good shape. But
that's right.
I think you kind of have to have that self-reflection. I mean, if you look at the statistics of how America is, we're the leader in obesity, a lot of heart disease, smoking is still prevalent in our country and things of that such. You may want to ask yourself that question, like, if I get the COVID, am I going to be able to survive this? And if you think you don't, just like AJ said, you better hit that Google, man. You better get on there and start looking up stuff and getting outside and doing things.
Start now, and definitely think about that. This is for you. And if not, do it for your kids, or if you have kids, or your family members, within your household. Actually, this is for you. Actually, it's for you. All right,
It's going to be rough. When you first start, it's going to be rough. But the thing is once you start doing it, it's going to become like second nature. It's going to become a habit.
Yeah. And that's where it starts, really. This is for you. And do it for yourself. Definitely. If you haven't done any exercise at all, like he said, just walk out. You have a bike, bike out there. Just get some physical activities going, because
what
that's
are
where
some
it
of the things
starts.
that we've been doing? We went hiking a couple times.
That's right. Running.
Yeah, big time runners. I mean, shout out to Saucony. Shout out to Brooks.
If you want to sponsor us too, you're more than welcome to.
I like free shit.
But yeah, definitely get out there and start just walk, hike, wherever you are. I think if you're in a place where there's a lot of hiking trails, look them up. And not only are you getting some physical activity going and making your getting healthier as far as you also are seeing the beauty of the nature. I wasn't. It's funny. Like when I got to the Wyoming, I was like, "What's over here?" And a lot of people say, "Oh, you can go hike, fish." So I'll try some hiking, and ever since then I'm hooked. That's I wasn't a big outdoorsy person, but with this COVID stuff, that's another thing too. You gotta think about your, you gotta rearrange. Well, you think about your hobbies or stuff you want to do during the weekends, because you just can't go out to, I don't know, public places now. So going out to doing outdoor activities, that would actually be good for you.
And it's also good because they were talking about they've seen an uptick in depression, suicide, domestic violence, things of that such. If you go out there and get some of that vitamin D, your stress level is going to go down substantially, and you won't kind of fall into that statistic. You don't ever want to be a statistic.
That's right.
So I think What else you got, AJ? You got anything else?
Yeah, I really want to bring this up because we kind of, I know we've been we've been talking for a while. And what do you think about Bill Gates, man? So
Whoa.
during this COVID
Whoa.
stuff, I still is. He's at the forefront of this. And you think about Bill Gates. I know he has the Bill Gates Foundation, and I know he does a lot with. It's a charity of his. He does a lot with, giving, underprivileged kids, vaccination, which is important because that's how you fight all these diseases. But how did he become a forefront medical expert?
Oh.
What do you think about that?
So, I mean, we talk about this a lot, He's Jeff Bezos is the richest person in the world, right?
Yes.
And then it's Bill Gates, right? But Bill Gates for the longest time was the richest person in the world, right?
Right.
So what's the one thing we always talk about? If you got all the money in the world, you get all the wants, right? But what do rich people slowly want? Control.
Ooh.
So one of the big headlines that kind of came out was talking about making the vaccine mandatory. So AJ and I, we were talking about this a couple days ago, and one of the things that kind of popped into my head is he said Bill Gates, and I was like, they're gonna microchip our asses. If they're gonna, if they're gonna make this mandatory,
go there, man.
if they're gonna make this mandatory. And Bill Gates is, he's funding this virus. What does he own? Microsoft. What do they make? Chips. So why don't you make a microchip? There's always been talk about the New World Order and things of that such. And I think this is the ample time. I mean, the common person is scared out of their fucking mind.
Yeah.
They don't have any sort of money because the industry is kaput. I mean, how much you get from your stimulus check? $2,500?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, come on, man.
That's nothing.
And the government
Actually,
ain't give us
$1,500, right?
Yeah, they ain't give us
single.
shit now. So I mean, you got the average American ain't got no money.
What do you think? How much the vaccine would cost per individual? I heard it was like $1,000 to $1,500.
I mean, if they're gonna make it mandatory, bro,
Imagine.
government's gonna have to give it out for free. But guess who's gonna pay for it? You and me.
That's right.
Yeah, we're the middle class, upper middle class.
But who gets the money? Let's think about that. Who gets the money?
Your boy Bill Gates.
Oh, they're gonna hide it in this umbrella called the pharmaceutical companies. Whoever's making it, and I think that I thought to me that was interesting when Bill Gates he's still in there. He made a comment about how if Joe Biden gets elected, he would be one of the I think the advisor or something, along with Dr. Fauci on how to implement a more.
He don't even have a medical degree. He don't even have a medical degree. He just got money. So this goes to show you got money, you can be whatever you want.
That's right. I thought that was pretty interesting to me, man. Bill Gates, the Dr. Bill Gates,
I just
get
think
your
it's
shot.
I just think it's an easy way for them to put those microchips in us. I mean, look at the thing, right? So trace contacting. Let's talk about trace contacting, right?
That's right.
So we both have iPhones, and one of the very controversial things that came out was there was an update to the iOS.
Yeah.
And built into that iOS was trace contacting, correct?
Yeah.
So if you look back on the Patriot Act when George Bush was president,
Baby Bush,
that opened up the whole world to surveillance, allowing the government to track your phones, and they always had an eye on you. Well, if you look at this COVID thing, Apple and Android phones as well, they had updates that put trace contacting on your phone whether or not you wanted it or not. So wherever you went, if you caught the COVID, they could pinpoint where you were at and try to figure out who else you caught. This is going to be the norm. Every time the government's like, oh, we're doing this to help you, we're doing this to help you, what happens? It becomes the fucking norm. So that's why I think this fucking vaccine with Bill Gates is going to be a fucking microchip. We're all going to be fucking robots, bro.
what do you think it will do though? Like, it'll track us wherever we go, and we're like a bunch of rats or in a maze.
I think a lot of it. I mean, it's going to give data for marketing. Like, look at your ads on YouTube's and things of that such. Like, oh, this guy always frequents McDonald's. So let's always show them ads about McDonald's or things of that such. I think, you know.
Put them on the phone kind of deal. You know, just like, hey, there's a special on Big Mac.
Yeah,
what do you think?
The extra Mac size, bro. But I think the biggest thing with it is with our government and the amount of money that America has.
Or don't have.
What they could do with the microchip is endless. They could know about your vitals. They could monitor you 24/7. Know when you're sleeping, know when you're not. Oh, you did something illegal? Well, you're sleeping right now. We're gonna bring the SWAT crew and fuck you up. You see what I'm saying? I think it's endless on what they can actually do.
Man, you went on the deep end, but I mean, you're onto something there. And I think, in the biblical terms, I don't know if you guys are religious or not. You know, that's like the mark of the beast, right?
Mark of the beast.
You know, that's where everyone's like, oh my God, that's it right there.
Book of Revelation.
That's right. What's the page number on that? Anyway, I mean that's hey, look, something's happening, man, and stuff just keep popping up, and this pandemic, and we didn't mention about riot. We'll talk about that next time, but definitely, this pandemic's definitely change our lifestyle.
Just remember, you don't get the corona out of riot either.
And it's crazy because like everything changed, and it's still changing as of right now, and we're kind of stuck where we are, and don't know when this will end, but I think we'll come out of this eventually. But
yeah, I think we will.
Certain things will be kind of will be, this mask will stay, I think, for a little bit longer than we would like.
I think it's forever, bro.
I think it's forever, bro. I hope not, bro.
When I die, when I die and they cremate me, they're going to put a fucking mask on me. So even when I'm fucking ashes, I'm still going to have a mask somewhere in my ashes.
Dude. You're dying and you're looking like Sub-Zero or Scorpion.
That's ready, fight. So I think, but I mean, it's kind of, it's the new norm to me. I mean, we go out quite a bit. Not really. I mean, when we say go out, I mean like going to the stores and things of that such. I mean, to me, I feel naked without a mask now.
Whoa.
I always make sure that when I leave the house, I have a mask, and we have backups in the cars and things of that such. But it's crazy how one thing can turn life upside down. I mean, we were seeing what in the USA, unprecedented economy, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, within a day, January 22nd, 2020, CDC confirmed there was coronavirus, and then it just started a literal wildfire through the country, and now the economy's kind of in shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, but one of the things I want to ask you, audience members, is AJ and I, we currently live in Wyoming, little town America, I guess you can call it. We want to hear from you, big guys that live in New York City, the guys that live in LA, Houston, Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City, wherever, somewhere a metropolis. We want to hear from you guys how life is. I mean, for us, it's
a little bit different.
Yeah, it's just, okay, we got to wear a mask. Even where we live now, if we were going into a store, we don't have to wear a mask. They're not going to stop us. So I want to hear from you guys that are in these huge cities that, that the economy goes through in America, and, a lot of very liberal type cities. I want to hear from you guys.
Yep, definitely. And with that, I just want to say thank you guys for listening in. And if you're not a subscriber yet on YouTube, please subscribe.
Hit that like button, bro.
That's right. And and I think that's it for today. What do you think?
I think we did pretty good today. I mean, just want to give a shout out to the fans. Thank you for you guys' support. Just remember, we are releasing new content every week, if not twice a week. Next episode, we have a special guest, one of our great VIPs, Mr. Glenn Garcia, mental health expert. We are actually going to have him on the show, and tune in. Hope you guys kind of like it. I haven't figured out a title yet, because, we're all about making them crazy-ass titles on this thing. We want to have fun. So
that's right.
I just want to say, on that note, we're out, brother.
Yeah, peace.
Sweet.